All right. Sorry, you all. I am 6 minutes late. I don't know if anybody is still here with us. I think I figured out a way to share my slides without using StreamYard, so you won't need any special permissions to log in or to comment. So we're going to try this. I may try StreamYard on the next one. We'll see if there's advantages to that. But I do want to share with you a slide screen today, not just myself talking. So if you had a chance, I just posted the workbook. You can go into the event page, and in my comments on that, I left the link to the workbook. There's about a 10-page activity pack to go with that. I've provided 10 frames for you to use and some worksheets to follow up on this. And as always, if you're here, can you leave a comment and let me know if you can hear me okay? I think everything's working, but I'm never quite sure. Okay, so if you did not get a chance to print out the workbook yet, all you will need is a 10 frame, and you can quickly sketch that on a piece of paper and grab some counting items, any small items that fit inside your 10 frame. A fun way to do it is take an egg carton, an egg carton for a dozen eggs, cut off the last two, and then you have a great 10 frame that has 10 spaces in. Okay, so if you didn't have a chance to print anything out, you're welcome just to watch this. Okay, so I'm going to dive in here with a brief explanation of why I'm going, quote, backwards to talk about addition. So, and I know there's nothing on my screen yet. Give me just 1 second here. Okay. Okay, so we're going to be talking about addition strategies. Bear with me with the blank screen for a minute here. Because I've been going through my entire course, the Developing Number Sense course, and I've redone all of the videos for the entire Part 1 course so that they're more applicable to kids who have already learned addition and are ready to jump into multiplication. Because everything that we're learning about 10 frame strategies with addition gives you a good foundation. So as I was going through and doing some of the final videos on that, the redone version of it, I started getting really excited about it because these strategies in a 10 frame make addition so simple. So some of you are already in the course. Some of you have heard me talk about this before, but I wanted to put a video up that everybody could access and just give you a way to see how simple addition can be when you use 10 frames. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a simple problem like 5 plus 8, but I'll get up into double digit addition. And then I have other videos I've shared about triple digit addition. So these strategies make addition so simple that you don't even feel like you're doing addition. You'll just glance at things and instantly know what the numbers are. So stick with me if you don't know why I'm saying that. The biggest numbers that you'll ever have to add is 4 plus 4, okay? And we can add anything in the whole world. So I am doing one more check to make sure that this is working. Okay, and I have 2 comments. You can hear me, great. Okay, so here we go. Okay, I want to start off with looking at 5 plus 8 and ask a question to anybody who's watching this or watching the replay. When you see something like this, do you instantly know what the number is, or do you have a good go-to strategy that you know how you will solve it? I think even in my case, as I'm going back and reviewing and prepping all of this, when I see numbers like 17 plus 28 or 15 plus 8, any kind of numbers, there's kind of, it's easy to just kind of freeze for a minute. You're like, I don't know how to do that. What's my strategy? Am I just going to count? It's a lot of numbers to count. So I want to show you a strategy that it does not rely on counting. It does not rely on memorization. It just relies on making sense of numbers. So let's look at these numbers in a 10 frame. And I'm always going to start with the biggest number. So we'll start with 8. So I'm bypassing the entire foundation, but I think you guys have heard me talk enough about this for now. We need to know every number 1 through 10 in a 10 frame. Like, that's the foundation. You need to know that inside and out, forward and backwards. So when you see the number 8, you picture this type of 10 frame setup in your head. So we have 5 on top and 3 more on bottom. Okay, if you have those numbers um, really well cemented in your mind as you're seeing these numbers, then these strategies are going to work really well for you. Okay, we want to add 5 to that. So we're going to realize there's too many to fill one 10 frame. So we need to carry over to the next 10 frame. Now, when you see 8 here, what we also see, you might have heard me talk about the moon before. So let me insert a quick story. If you've ever gone out at night and looked at the moon and seen a crescent shape, have you ever stared at it until you could also see the outline of the rest of the moon? That's kind of what we're doing here with 10 frames. You see, I'm going to go back to this, what you see is 8, but there's a full 10 frame there. And so what you don't see is what I call the rest of the moon, or the 2 spots, the 2 empty spots that it takes to fill that up. So we would add in 2 more, and then we have to finish off our 5 by putting 3 there. Okay, so now you can instantly glance at that, and we know a full 10 frame has 10. We don't have to count these. We know that there's 3 because our brain can do that. Our brain can recognize amounts from 1 to 4 or 1 to 5 at a glance. So we know that this is 13. Okay, that was a long explanation for a simple problem because it's the same as what we'll do with bigger numbers. So if you can understand it really well with smaller numbers, excuse me, you'll be great when it comes to bigger numbers. And by the way, another little story, when I was teaching math classes, that's always what I would do. No matter what I was teaching, I would bring it back to small numbers and go over the strategy really thoroughly. And then you can carry that same strategy into bigger numbers. Okay, so this is what I want to show you. We'll be able to add numbers and get to the point where you can tell at a glance what the answer is. So we can tell it took 2 more to fill up the 10 frame, and then there's 3 left over. Okay, this is what I call making 10 strategy number 1. So the first version of the making 10 strategy is you fill up a 10 frame, and then however much is left over will be a glanceable amount. And so you'll be able to just look and tell what the number is. Okay, we're going to move a little bit faster now. Try this with your eyes closed. So just close your eyes and listen and see if you can picture these 10 frames in your head and follow what we're doing with this. So we're still working with small numbers, 6 plus 6. So close your eyes and picture 6 in a 10 frame. You should be seeing 5 on top and 1 more on bottom. And then what I want you to see is the other part of the moon. So what's not there? So you see 6 as 5 and 1 more, and then you also see 4 empty spaces. So with our first making 10 strategy, we're going to fill up those empty spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have to overflow, and you may have heard me refer to these as double-decker buses before. We're going to have to overflow onto a double-decker bus with 2 extras. Okay, so we have a full 10 frame and 2 more. So we can see the answer is 12. Okay, we're going to do 1 more, and then I'm going to show you an even easier strategy. So 8 plus 7, start with you can open your eyes now, or if it's working for you, you can keep trying to visualize it. Or if you have the 10 frames in front of you, and if you're watching the replay, feel free at any point to pause the video and work this out so you can get more hands-on practice. If you're fast enough and you're watching me live, definitely go ahead and try to do this hands-on so you can get the feel for that. Okay, so fill in 8 in your 10 frame. That means you'll have 5 on top, 3 more on bottom, and then we want to add in 7. So if you've been with me, you'll know that 7 in a 10 frame is 5 on top and 2 more on bottom. So see if you can visualize that. We have 2 empty spaces. So we're going to fill in, we know that 7 is 5 on top, and we're going to put the extra 2 in that perfect space for it right there. And then we can tell at a glance, this is a full 10 and a 5, so we have 15. So this is actually the best example of adding without actually adding. If you know what the numbers look like, they're just like pieces of a puzzle that fit together. So an 8 leaves 2 empty spaces, and a 7 has those 2 empty pieces. So you click it in there, and then you can glance and see this is 10 and 5, so it's 15. Okay, so let's go on. I'm going to go, no, this is actually, sorry, this is what I want to talk about. Okay, let's take a look at 8 plus 6, but we're going to do a different type of making 10 that's even easier than what I just showed you. Okay, so let's picture 8 as, again, 5 plus 3. So go ahead and put that in your 10 frame. 5 on top, 3 more on bottom. And we want to add 6. So I'm going to fill up my second 10 frame with 6 items. And this time, I want you to just kind of slow down and think about what those are. So I wrote it out here, but you can just think about it. 8 is 5 and 3 more. 6 is 5 and 1 more. So this time, instead of moving, we're not really going to move anything. I want you to find a hiding 10 in there. So see if you can just look at that and see, where is there a secret 10 that we don't need to move anything? Okay, see if you can see it before I say it. And this is what I want you to see here. Looking at these two 10 frames together, you can go across the top of both of them. So here's a 5 and here's a 5. So that makes a 10. We didn't have to rearrange. We didn't have to break up anything. We just know there's a 5 and a 5. That makes a 10. Okay, this is the part I love because this makes bigger numbers so much easier. So even if what we're doing is too easy, stick with me because this strategy is going to make the big numbers easier. Okay, so I did move one thing. If that helps you, you can move that extra piece over, or you can just, all you have to do is look at that and see how much it is. So we have a full 10, and then our leftover pieces are 3 and 1 more, which is 4. So our answer is 14 because we have 10 and 4. So this way is easier. If you have 5s hiding inside your numbers, then take those off, make them a 10, and then work with what's left. So if you're always visualizing numbers in 10 frames, you can find those groups of 5s, make them a 10, and then you're only ever working with the leftover pieces, which will always be less than 5, but I'm going to even say less than 4. And I'll tell you at the end, if I remember, why I say 4 instead of 5. Okay, so let's do that one more time. Let's look at 7 plus 7. See if you can follow this version. This is the second version of the making 10 trick. So we have 7, both of those are 5 and 2 more. So we want to make a 10 without moving anything. So we're going to look across the top of both of those. So we have a secret 10 by combining these two this way. And then all we have to worry about is the extra 2 and the extra 2. So you have 4. So when you see 7 plus 7, don't think about it as a 7. Think about it as a 2 because 7 is just 2 extra pieces after a 5. And that's all you're going to be concerned about. We'll take this extra 2 right here. Take this extra 2 right here. That makes 4. And you know that you have a 10 because that's hiding inside there. So all you really need to know is the 4. And then it's 14, not just 4. Okay? Let me know if you guys have questions as we're going or need clarification on any of that. Now, if you're watching this, I'm not going to have you pause right now because we're live, but if you're watching this on the replay, I want you to try this. Pause the video and talk to somebody. If you stop and talk about it as you go, you'll make your foundation stronger for what we're about to do. Okay, explain to somebody how the Make 10 trick works. And there's 2 parts to it, so you can explain it both ways. And then use that trick, and I should say either version of it, to add 6 plus 6. Okay, then try to extend this idea. So I want you, this is where we're headed here, can you draw a picture and explain how you would add 16 plus 16 using the Make 10 trick? Okay, so we're not just talking about numbers where you just stack 16 and 16 and add them with the traditional algorithm. I'm talking about picturing it in 10 frames and thinking how you can instantly see what the answer is. Okay, so If you paused the video, you can come back now and watch the solution. If you're here with me live, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Okay, so let's see what this looks like. 16 plus 16. So here's 16. We know that it's a full 10 and then a 5 and a 1 more. So the important thing, hey buddy, online. Go on and close the door. You can watch, lady. Okay, so the important thing in this whole number 16 is this 1. Okay, that's what we really want to focus on. And then we have another 16. So the only important thing are these extra pieces that will always be smaller than 5. Okay, what are we going to do with this? Let's count up our groups of 10s. So we have a full 10, another full 10, and then we have a hiding 10, a secret 10. If you combine this 5 and this 5, that makes another 10. And then the only thing that you have to add is 1 and 1. So in all of this, we only have to add 1 plus 1. That's the really cool part. I hope this is exciting to somebody else. Maybe I'm just a math person and love this, but I think this is great how simple it makes it. Okay, so we count by 10s, 10, 20, 30, and then we have 2. So it's 32. Okay, let's try another one. 18 plus 17. Okay, I'm going to kind of jump straight to the punchline here and say, remind you, the only thing we care about is that we want to see the extra pieces beyond the 5. So 18 we know is a 10 and an 8. Don't worry about the 10. Focus on the 8. 8 is a 5 and a 3. So don't even worry about the 5. Just do the 3. So we'll put that picture there. But all we care about, in a sense, is this 3. Okay, then 17. What's the little piece we're going to care about? How many extra numbers will there be? If you said 2, that's great. So we have 10, 5, and 2 more. So we're only going to be adding these extra little pieces, 3 and 2 more. But let me back up and we'll start at the top. So how many 10s do we have? We have 1 easy 10, another easy 10, 1 hiding 10. Now we can focus on the little pieces. 3 and 2 make 5. So we have 10, 20, 30, and 5 more makes 35. Okay, so no matter how big your numbers are, I think you can see where this is headed probably. All you ever care about are those extra pieces after the 5 inside a 10 frame. Okay, let's do big numbers. Let's do 26 plus 39. So I'm going to show you on a 10 frame, and then after this, I'll show you just with numbers. So this is the last time with the pictures here. Okay, 26, that's 10, 20, and 6 more. So that's 5 and 1 more. And then we have 39, so that's 10, 20, 30, and then 9 more. Which the only thing we care about in the 26 is that there's 1 extra piece here. And the only thing we care about, the thing that's most important, is the extra 4 in the 39 here. Okay, so let's circle up all of our 10s. We have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and then let's check if there's a secret 10. And there is a secret 10 if you look at these two. And then we'll just combine our pieces. So 1 and 4 more makes 5. So we have 50 and 10 makes 60, and 5 more, so we have 65 there. Okay, now we'll jump to the part you've probably seen before where you stack the numbers and add them. But I want you to have this picture in mind, because if you have this picture in mind, you'll be able to move to the numbers and still understand what you're doing. So let's go to the shortcut. Okay, this is probably how you've learned how to add before. I really like students to learn the 10 frame strategies first before they get to this, because when you only learn this algorithm, it's really, really easy for kids at some point in their math journey to forget what to do, to be at a blank as where to start. Anyways, there's a lot of things that could happen, but I won't mention all those. But if you see these in your head inside 10 frames, let me show you what it looks like. We're going to think of 26 as 20 and 6 more. We're going to think of 37 as 30 and 7 more. Then we're going to realize 20 and 30 makes 50. Now, think of the 6 and the 7. 6 is 5 and 1 more. 7 is 5 and 2 more. I don't know why I didn't write those on the screen, but anyways. So we have 1 here, 1 extra piece, 2 extra pieces here. That makes 3. That's the only thing we have to add in all of this. Okay, there's a secret 10 because you had the 5s and the 5 and the 5. And then this is 50. So 50 and 10 make 60, and you have 3. So we have 63. Okay, do you want an even shorter shortcut? Let's do it. 26 plus 37 plus 29. Okay, think of 26 as 20 and 6. Think of 37 as 30 and 7. 29 as 20 and 9. Now, this is what I thought I had done last time. Break up those into 5 and something more. So 5 and 1, 5 and 2, 5 and 4. Okay, now we're going to gather up all our 10s, find any secret 10s, and then see what's left. So we have, I jumped too fast to that. Okay, 20 and 30 is 50, plus 2 more is 70. Then let's look for our secret 10s. Don't worry about these, we broke them up. So here's a 10. 4 and 1 makes a 5, so we have another 5 and 5, which makes a 10. And then there's nothing to add, you just have a 2 left over. So you had a 10 and a 10, which makes 20. Technically that is adding, but I consider it more as just counting by 10s. So we have 2 secret 10s there, and then that 2 left over. Okay, so we have 70, 80, 90, and 2 more, so you have 92. Okay, we're going to do it faster. And this, I'm ending on the note of where most textbooks only show this part. Well, they'll lead up to it with different ways, but anyways, this is the traditional algorithm that from now on, if you really understand what you're doing, you can do it this way, speaking to the kids who are watching here. But it's always based on those mental images of the 10 frames. Okay, so these are the same numbers, but let me show you how to do it with even less writing. Okay, we're only going to look at these last numbers. Those are the ones digits. That means anything less than 10. So everything in this column are the numbers that fit inside one 10 frame. Okay, so our 6 is made up of 5 and 1 more. We did this already. 7 is 5 and 2 more. 9 is 5 and 4 more. So we're just going to focus on that. So find your secret 10s. Here's a secret 10, 5 and 5. Then you have to dig deeper. 1 and 4 make a 5, and there's an extra 5. So that makes a 10. So you know that you have 20 extras there. Now, pause for a minute. 20 means 2 10s. So we're going to move up here. This is our 10s column. This shows you how many 10 frames you would have if you were to write it in 10 frames. So we have 2 10 frames here, 3 10 frames here to make 30, 2 10 frames here to make 20. And we've dug around in these numbers and pulled up 2 more whole 10 frames worth. So we're going to add 2 whole 10 frames to this column. Now you can go through and just add those numbers. So 2 and 2 is 4, 4 and 3 more is 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 whole 10 frames, and that means 90. Okay, checking my comments here. And then the only thing we had left over is this 2 here. Okay, so the shortest possible shortcut is like this. Look at these numbers. Don't just add them. Think of them as 5 and something more. Then find your secret 10s, and whatever's left over after you've gathered all your 10s, put it down there. But this number is only what can fit inside one 10 frame. Now, however many 10 frames you filled up, bring that number up here to show whether you filled up 1 10 frame, 2 10 frames. This is your number of whole 10 frames that you made when you gathered all these pieces together. Then you count how many 10 frames you have there. This is your number of 10 frames, and this is your extra pieces. So 90 and 2. Okay, so that's it for this video. There's a ton more, of course, and if you're in the Developing Number Sense course, you've seen everything leading up to this, and you'll see there's a lot more activities. I have something called Foxface Math that helps. It's kind of an intermediate step in between the 10 frames and the pure numbers, which has helped my kids a lot. I think it will be helpful for early learners. And then this is still a very important skill even when you go into multiplication. So if you have kids who are a little bit older and they're ready to do multiplication and division, this is still a great set to work through with them, because addition doesn't go away. It keeps coming up, as you know, and no matter how much math you do, there will be addition hidden inside of it. So I hope that this is helpful to think of those numbers in 10 frames, and that this helps you see how you can visualize numbers or just see them instead of doing a lot of math and trying to keep track of all the rules of what you're doing. And I wanted to share here, because I don't have the exact same audience in this Facebook group as I do in my email group. So in case you didn't see, I've extended my 30% off coupon code. So if you are interested, if you haven't yet purchased any of these courses and you would like to, there's the link to it. And you can still use BTS 30 to save 30% on any course. Oh, the other thing I was going to say is these prices are climbing as I fill them out, but I'm getting really close to finishing all of these courses. So they'll hit their full price pretty soon, and then I'll go into switching away from creating the courses to selling them. So you guys who know me from my email list and from this group, I'm giving you the chance to jump in while the prices are low as I'm creating the content. Anyways, no obligation to purchase, but if you want to, there's the link and the coupon code. I'll continually, in this Facebook group, I'll continue to offer free courses pulled out of what I'm currently working on. So feel free to just follow me on that journey if it's working for you. And if you have any questions, as always, leave a comment. I hope this has been helpful, and thank you so much for joining and watching.